You've probably been told that to keep a man's attention, you must become his everything. Society feeds us a narrative of absence and pursuit, that if you're just a little bit more mysterious, a little bit less available, or a little bit more of what he wants you to be, he'll be forever captivated. This common belief suggests that the key to his unwavering devotion lies in a careful performance, a delicate balance of being just enough and yet not too much. It's a constant, exhausting game of self-modification and strategic withdrawal, all in the hope of securing a gaze that might otherwise wander. This advice, pervasive as it is, places the locus of power and control entirely outside of yourself, making your worth and security dependent on another's fleeting attention. It teaches you to view yourself as a project to be perfected for someone else's approval, rather than as a complete entity in your own right. Yet this conventional wisdom is built on a fundamental misunderstanding of human psychology. It's a trap that many fall into, a relentless cycle of anxiety and self-doubt. The pursuit of an external validation becomes a prison, and the very thing you seek, undivided attention, is pushed further away by the energetic neediness this approach creates. True connection, the kind that binds two souls in an authentic and lasting way, cannot be built on a foundation of performance and manipulation. It thrives on a different kind of energy entirely, one that is not rooted in fear of abandonment, but in the profound security of self-possession. The question isn't about what you should do to hold his gaze. A far more powerful and transformative question emerges. What if the answer to his undivided attention has absolutely nothing to do with him? What if the key to an unbreakable connection isn't about how you act, but about who you are? The popular advice focuses on the superficial, the external actions designed to elicit a specific reaction. It misses the deeper, more archetypal reality of attraction and devotion. It's not about being less available. It's about becoming so deeply present within yourself that the external world simply rearranges itself around your magnetic field. The true secret isn't a strategy. It's a state of being, a journey into the self that few are brave enough to undertake. This journey asks you to discard every piece of advice you've ever been given about keeping a man and to embark on a quest for something far more significant, your own wholeness. This is not a journey for the faint of heart, for it requires a radical re-evaluation of your own self-worth and purpose. It demands that you cease playing the part and instead start living from your authentic core. The transformative truth is this: the man who is truly meant for you won't be held by your absence, but by your incandescent presence. He won't be drawn in by a series of calculated moves, but by the gravitational pull of a woman who has found her own center. Carl Jung would argue that the deepest, most profound connections between individuals are not forged on a surface level of social cues or strategic behavior. Instead, they are born from the convergence of two whole psyches. He would suggest that the modern woman, often feeling incomplete and defined by her relationships, is unconsciously seeking an external figure to complete her own unfinished self. The pursuit of a man's undivided attention, therefore, becomes a desperate attempt to patch the holes in her own psyche. Jung's work on the process of individuation illuminates this struggle, positing that true psychological health and maturity lie in the integration of all aspects of the self, both light and shadow, conscious and unconscious. This journey is the ultimate quest, one that precedes and indeed is a prerequisite for any truly meaningful external relationship. According to Jung, a woman's psychological integrity is her most powerful and magnetic force. Imagine your soul as a sacred temple, a sanctuary of your deepest truths, passions, and fears. For so long, you may have been taught to leave this temple door ajar, hoping someone will walk in and fill its empty halls with meaning. But Jung would say that the temple must first be built from within. It must be adorned with your own art, filled with your own music, and lit by your own inner flame. This process of self-creation, of cultivating your own inner world, is what gives you a profound and irresistible depth. When a woman ceases to wait for an external savior to illuminate her life, and instead becomes the high priestess of her own inner temple, she projects an aura of self-contained power that is utterly captivating. This brings us to a profound duality. The common misconception is that a man is attracted by a lack, by a void that he can fill. The new truth, however, is that he is captivated by a presence, by a woman who is already full. The difference is not subtle, it is seismic. A man is not held by a woman's absence, but by her radiant presence, a presence so complete and self-contained that it creates a sense of magnetic mystery. A woman who is in the process of building her own inner temple becomes a universe unto herself. She is not a satellite orbiting another's world. She is a star with her own gravitational pull. This is not about being aloof or cold. It is about being so deeply connected to her own essence that she doesn't need to perform for attention. This is a relatable sensation for anyone who has ever felt the palpable energy of a self-possessed person. It's the woman in the room who doesn't need to speak loudly to be heard, the one who is so comfortable in her own skin that it makes everyone else feel more at ease. It's the quiet hum of someone who is deeply engaged with their own life, their own thoughts, and their own purpose. The men who are drawn to this woman are not looking for a project. They are seeking a partner who can meet them as an equal, a fellow traveler on the journey of life. This is the profound truth that Jung's work reveals. True, lasting devotion is not about being a destination, but about being a fellow explorer. This journey towards inner wholeness, while deeply rewarding, is also fraught with challenges and discomfort. Society has conditioned us to seek validation in our relationships, to find our reflection in another's eyes. When you choose to turn your gaze inward, you will inevitably encounter resistance from yourself and from others. You may feel a profound sense of loneliness, as if you are swimming against a powerful current of social expectation. This is the initial stage of the journey, where the comfort of external validation is stripped away, and you are left alone with the often uncomfortable truth of who you are. This period of isolation is not a punishment, but a necessary crucible for transformation. It is here that you learn to be your own company, your own solace, and your own greatest cheerleader. This is also where we encounter the Jungian concept of the shadow. The shadow is the unconscious part of us that holds all the traits we've repressed or disowned because they were deemed unacceptable by society or our families. As you turn inward, you will meet your shadow, your insecurities, your anxieties, your jealousies. It is a painful and necessary confrontation. Many women feel a deep sense of shame or anguish during this process, a feeling of being wrong or broken for having these parts. This is a normal, vital part of psychological growth. To truly become whole, you must not only embrace your light, but also integrate your shadow. This encounter is not about defeating the shadow, but about understanding and accepting it as a part of who you are. It is important to remember that you are not alone in this feeling of alienation or doubt. This is a shared human experience, a universal stage of the journey towards authenticity. The society around you may not understand why you are no longer playing the old games, why you are no longer chasing attention. Your friends may question your newfound introspection, and you may feel a sense of not belonging. This is a sign that you are on the right path, a path that few dare to walk. The feeling of being misunderstood is a temporary byproduct of a profound and personal awakening. It is a testament to the fact that you are no longer content with the superficial and are instead seeking a truth that is both deeper and more lasting. The journey of individuation, as Jung called it, is not a smooth ride. It is a messy, chaotic, and often painful process of self-discovery. It requires immense courage to face the parts of yourself that you have been taught to hide. But within this process lies the promise of a profound transformation. The angst and doubt you feel are simply growing pains. They are a sign that the old self is being shed and a new, more integrated self is emerging. By validating your own feelings and experiences, you give yourself the permission to be on this journey, to feel the discomfort and to keep going. This is the heart of true self-love, a willingness to stay with yourself through all the difficult stages of growth. Having journeyed through the discomfort and faced the shadow, a profound transformation occurs. The woman who once sought validation from the outside world now finds her strength and worth from within. She is no longer dependent on the gaze of another for her sense of self. The chrysalis of doubt and fear she was once wrapped in has given way to the wings of her own self-realization. She has learned that her completeness is not a gift to be bestowed by a man, but a truth to be discovered within herself. This newfound autonomy is not a defensive posture. It is a profound state of being that radiates confidence and calm. She has become her own source of light, her own center of gravity, and her own greatest support system. This transformation results in a woman who is not just emotionally resilient, but truly whole. She is no longer a half-finished story waiting for a co-author. She is a complete narrative, rich with her own experiences, desires, and wisdom. This internal completeness makes her deeply fascinating, not in a performative way, but in an authentic, magnetic way. She's not playing hard to get. She's simply hard to get because her life is so rich and full that her time and attention are genuinely valuable commodities. She has cultivated an inner world that is so compelling that it becomes a force of nature, a silent promise of depth and adventure to anyone fortunate enough to enter it. In this new state, her relationship with herself becomes paramount. She values her time, respects her own boundaries, and pursues her own passions with unwavering dedication. She is a woman who is unafraid to be alone because she has discovered the richness of her own solitude. This is what makes her truly dangerous, not in a threatening way, but in a profound archetypal sense. A woman who is whole, a woman who is complete within herself, cannot be manipulated by the fear of being left. She cannot be coerced into compromising her values for the sake of companionship. She is free, and this freedom is her most captivating quality. This final stage of the journey is one of empowerment and deep personal liberation. The woman who embarked on this quest to find a way to keep a man now realizes that she has found something far greater: herself. The ultimate prize is not the unwavering gaze of another, but the unwavering loyalty to her own soul. The final message is one of profound self-worth. She becomes so deeply rooted in her own being that she becomes a force to be reckoned with. She is not a damsel in distress. She is the hero of her own story. Let's delve into the male psyche, not from a perspective of manipulation, but from a Jungian understanding of archetypal needs. Carl Jung would say that the masculine psyche, at its core, is driven by the archetype of the hero, the one who seeks to overcome challenges, to prove his worth, and to find a meaningful purpose in life. This heroic journey often involves a search for the anima, the inner feminine principle within the male psyche that he must integrate to become whole. This anima is not an external woman, but an internal image of the feminine that guides him towards deeper psychological integration. A man is therefore not simply looking for a partner. He is unconsciously seeking a real-world reflection of his own inner anima. The woman who has embarked on her own journey of individuation and has become a beacon of her own inner light serves as a powerful mirror for the man on his heroic quest. She does not play the part of a damsel in distress. She is not a prize to be won or a challenge to be overcome. Instead, she stands as a sovereign entity, a woman who has already integrated her own unconscious and is operating from a place of wholeness. This is profoundly attractive because she represents a kind of psychological integrity that he himself is striving for. He's not drawn to her because she needs him to complete her, but because her completeness inspires him to seek his own. He sees in her a reflection of the powerful, integrated feminine energy he is trying to unite with within himself. This is where we see the powerful distinction between surface-level attraction and deep, archetypal devotion. A man can be superficially attracted to a woman who plays the role of the perfect partner, the one who is always available, who caters to his needs, and who makes him feel important. But this attraction is fleeting and fragile, built on a foundation of ego and performance. A man is drawn to a woman who is a universe unto herself on a far deeper, more spiritual level. He is captivated by her because she is not a role, but a reality. He sees in her the promise of a partnership that is not about filling a void, but about building a shared world. A world where two complete individuals can stand side by side, each pursuing their own destiny while supporting the others. This is the power of true psychological maturity. It transforms the nature of attraction itself. It moves it from a place of superficial need to a place of profound mutual respect and spiritual recognition. According to Jung, the most powerful and enduring bonds are those where two individuals are not looking at each other, but standing together, looking in the same direction. The woman who has done the inner work becomes the catalyst for this kind of connection. She doesn't have to do anything to secure his attention. Her very existence becomes the magnet. She doesn't need to chase him. He is compelled to join her on her journey. So what does this journey look like in the day-to-day, a practical embodiment of this philosophical shift? It is not about grand gestures or dramatic pronouncements. It is about the small, consistent rituals that reinforce your connection to yourself. It is about a woman who consciously chooses to spend her time in a way that nourishes her soul, not just to pass the time or to be seen. It's about the decision to read a book that challenges you, to learn a new skill that excites you, or to spend an evening in quiet reflection instead of scrolling mindlessly through your phone. These are the small daily acts of self-love that cumulatively build the inner temple we spoke of earlier. They are a declaration to the universe that you are a priority in your own life. This practice of embodiment is a powerful signal, both to yourself and to the world. It shows that you're not waiting for life to happen to you. You are actively creating it. When a woman is deeply engaged with her own passions and purposes, she radiates a different kind of energy. Her conversations are no longer centered around men or relationships, but on the exciting things she is discovering and creating. This doesn't mean she becomes self-absorbed, but rather she becomes a source of inspiration and intellectual curiosity. Her mind is a rich tapestry of ideas and experiences, and this richness is far more compelling than any performance she could ever put on. The man who is truly meant for her will not see this as a form of neglect or unavailability. Instead, he will be captivated by her inner world and want to be a part of it, to learn from it, and to grow alongside her. He will see her as a person with her own life, her own passions, and her own purpose. This is a profound shift from the traditional dynamic, where one partner is expected to subsume their life into the other's. In this new paradigm, both individuals are encouraged to grow and flourish, with their relationship serving as a supportive container for their individual journeys. The woman who embodies this state is not trying to be mysterious. She is simply living her authentic life. Her actions are not calculated to get a reaction. They are a genuine expression of who she is. This authenticity is the ultimate antidote to the anxiety and self-doubt that plague so many relationships. It's about building a life that is so fulfilling on its own terms that a relationship becomes an addition, a wonderful bonus, rather than an absolute necessity. She's not waiting for a man to complete her. She is creating a life so complete that a man would be honored to join her in it. The final shift in this journey is from a place of insecurity to a state of absolute sovereignty. The woman who began this quest feeling incomplete now stands as the ruler of her own kingdom. She understands that her worth is not a fragile thing that can be taken away by another's indifference or rejection. It is an immutable fact of her existence. She is no longer looking for a seat at someone else's table. She has built her own, and she invites others to join her there on her terms. This is not arrogance. It is the quiet, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you will not tolerate. This sovereignty is not about being cold or unfeeling. It is about having a profound respect for your own time, energy, and emotions. The sovereign woman does not allow others to drain her. She sets boundaries not as a form of punishment, but as a way of protecting the sanctity of her inner temple. She understands that her most important relationship is with herself, and that all other relationships are a reflection of that one. By honoring her own needs and desires, she teaches others how to honor them as well. She is a woman who has learned to be her own source of love, validation, and security. This is the ultimate answer to the initial question. The man who is truly meant for her will not be held by her absence or her attempts to manipulate him. He will be held by the sheer force of her presence. He will be captivated by her self-respect, her passion, and her unwavering loyalty to herself. He will see her not as a conquest, but as an equal, a queen who reigns over her own domain. He will be drawn to her because she represents a kind of freedom and integrity that he, on his own heroic journey, is also seeking. He won't look at another woman, not because she is performing a flawless act, but because she is a universe so rich and complete that he could spend a lifetime exploring it. Ultimately, this is a story not about how to keep a man, but about how to become a woman who cannot be lost. It is a narrative of profound empowerment, a journey from a place of external dependency to a place of internal authority. The woman who completes this journey does not need to worry about being left. She knows that she is the prize, the treasure, and the greatest gift she could ever give herself. The attention of another is a beautiful addition, but it is no longer the foundation of her world. She is a woman who has found her own way home. So I ask you now, what if the greatest love story you will ever have is the one you write with yourself? What if all the energy you've spent trying to be enough for someone else was instead poured into becoming the woman you were always meant to be? The journey we've talked about today is not a simple fix or a quick hack. It is a profound, lifelong commitment to your own soul. It is a challenge to step away from the noise of social expectations and to listen to the quiet, powerful voice within you. It is the brave choice to be the hero of your own life, to face your own shadow, and to emerge a whole and sovereign being. The truth is, many of us are afraid to be truly seen, not for the roles we play, but for who we are at our core. This is why so many people cling to the performance, the facade, the social game. But the most courageous act you can commit is to drop the mask, to embrace your authentic self, and to stand in the power of your own truth. This is the path that leads to genuine connection, not just with others, but most importantly with yourself. It is a path of liberation, a journey from a state of anxious striving to a state of peaceful being. This journey, though personal, is not a lonely one. It is a journey of awakening, and you are not alone in this process. Many women are beginning to feel the pull of this deep inner work, the call to reclaim their own power and to define their own worth. You are a part of a growing movement of consciousness, a collective of women who are choosing authenticity over approval and sovereignty over subservience. This is a powerful and sacred sisterhood, And your decision to embark on this journey is a contribution to the awakening of us all. If this message resonated with you, and if you're ready to start this journey, I encourage you to share this video with a friend who needs to hear it. Let us know in the comments below what your biggest takeaway was and what steps you're ready to take to begin building your own inner temple. Your voice and your journey matter. Remember, you're not alone. You are simply awakening. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.